want to see generational trauma in action, try telling your Chinese mom you're not hungry. Or worse, refuse a dumpling at Lunar New Year. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Chin. Maybe you recognize me from TV or cooking at the White House under the Obama administration, or from my one-woman show, Holy Shiitake, a Walk Star is Born. But I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I could never have achieved these milestones if I had let my demons stand in my way. And believe it or not, it was dumplings. Yeah, dumplings that released my demons. So now I'd like you guys to do a little exercise. I'd like everybody to turn to the person to their right. Now turn to the person to your left. What do the three of you have in common? Maybe I don't want to know. You all carry trauma. I'm sorry to say, it's just a fact of life. We all do. But guess what? Food and cooking can heal the wounds that we inherit. You see, in many Chinese American families, and especially mine, love isn't shown through hugging or touching or saying I love you. It's shown through a special dish made just for you. Like when my brother got all A's, he got a whole fish and black bean sauce. When I got all B's, I got pork chow mein. In our house, food was our love language, and obviously a way for my mom to express her disappointment in my grades. And dumplings were so much more than food. They were like little pouches of history and love and sometimes unspoken pain. Every pleat was a story, and every bite was a memory. She would say, make sure your dumplings are plump so you bring in lots of good luck in the new year. Her hands moved with magic. But behind her words, there was an unspoken history. My mom survived war, she survived hunger and immigration, only to be thrust into an arranged marriage with an emotionally abusive and alcoholic husband. I felt like all her struggles, her fears of not having enough or being enough, became my own. Because generational trauma is real. It's the passing along of fear, shame, and pain through families. Growing up, I didn't want any part of that history. I wanted to fit in. I was so embarrassed to be a Chinese American girl in Minnesota in the 1970s. I mean, how could you not be embarrassed when kids would come up to you every morning and say, Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees, look at these. Or later in high school, yeah, she's cute for a chink. There were so few Asians, I felt like an alien from outer space. All the other kids had bologna sandwiches. We got our mom's barbecued pork buns. I pushed away my heritage, not realizing I was pushing away a part of myself. And there were no Asian clubs at the time. Our parents brought us to the Sons of Norway, where we ate lutefisk and lefse. But the Norwegian neighbors were kind. Hey, Katie, want some krumkake? I can put some in a bag for ya. I just wanted to be blonde and Norwegian like everybody else. My older sister, Patty, inherited my father's depression and died by suicide when she was 19. I was 9. The day after the funeral, my dad took Patty's high school photo off the wall and stuck it in a drawer. We never spoke of Patty again. My mom was the heartbeat of our kitchen, but she dove even deeper into cooking to escape her pain. I always felt, though, that it was simmering beneath. And our mom, Leanne Chin, was no ordinary home cook. She was a force of nature, the original walk star. After immigrating with just a few recipes and a relentless drive, she built a $50 million restaurant empire from the ground up. She was a seamstress making just 50 cents an hour. She threw a luncheon one day to thank her sewing clients. They had never had authentic Chinese food before, because back in the day it was pretty much chop suey. They were blown away by her cooking. They encouraged her to start catering, and seemingly overnight, she was booked constantly for birthdays, weddings, and bar mitzvahs. And then, in a remarkable twist of fate, worthy of a Hollywood script, a local socialite introduced my mom to a group of investors, including the owner of the Minnesota Twins and Sean Connery. What? 007 himself was in town visiting his friend, Robert Redford, who was directing the film Ordinary People. Knees buckling, I served appetizers to Robert Redford and Sean Connery. Robert Redford was shy. He avoided my gaze. But Sean Connery was exactly as I imagined. Oh, delicious dumplings. He too was blown away by my mom's food and became an original investor. She opened her first restaurant in 1980 in Minnetonka, Minnesota at the Bonaventure Mall. It was upscale and elegant. There were lines around the block. The demand was so high, she opened another and another and another and another. She had 50 restaurants and became a household name. Her staples like lemon chicken, cream cheese puffs, and shrimp toast became staples of the Twin Cities diet. She also became a huge local celebrity. She even threw a fundraising concert with Prince. She didn't even know who he was. She came home and said, "That Prince, he can really play the guitar." She ended up selling her business to General Mills, and they made her president of the division. Our mom never even went to high school. As I got older, I realized I was repeating patterns. I married a man like my father, who was emotionally abusive. I felt ashamed not just for the marriage itself, but because I didn't break a cycle of trauma. I felt like I was letting my mom down, myself down, the generations of women before me, and the generations of women to come. I eventually found the courage to leave him. I didn't have the nerve to tell my mom I was getting a divorce, so I did the chicken shit Chinese thing. I made my sister Jeannie do it. My mom hopped on a plane with frozen shrimp in her carry-on on a mission to comfort and console me. I had fallen into a deep depression. I couldn't get out of bed. I felt broken, and I felt lost. And there, by her side in my kitchen, crying, she handed me a tissue and said, "Stop crying. It's inefficient." She looked me up and down like a walleye. She was trying to marinate and make whole again. But then, without missing a beat, she began to heal me in the only way she knew how. She said, "Come, let's make cilantro shrimp dumplings." And there in the kitchen, I found a kind of quiet meditative therapy. It was like with each pleat, my shame and my pain softened. It was replaced by the warmth of her acceptance. And I came to understand my mother's self-worth came from within, not from a man or anybody else. I also realized that all that stuff I was ashamed about, the flavors, the aroma, the rituals, were actually my inheritance. She opened up about her struggles in China. I began to respect her that much more for all of her sacrifices. With every dumpling, I began to reclaim pride in my Chinese heritage, something I had buried for so long. My mother was a warrior, and she was training me not just to take her torch, but to find my power, find my strength, find my voice, and uncover my purpose. And through our months-long journey cooking together, I emerged as my own walk star. No longer was I an insecure girl seeking a man's approval. No longer was I ashamed of my identity. No longer was I burdened by a dark family secret. No longer was I afraid to admit I too had inherited my father's depression and found the courage to seek help. My mother's dumplings healed me, because as it turns out, a bamboo basket over boiling water and a handful of her dough were no match for my demons. And now, as a mom to 17-year-old twins, Dylan and Becca, with my new and improved husband, Matthew, we celebrate the beauty and imperfection. Dumplings for me have become a way of acknowledging the past while rewriting it. Healing generational trauma doesn't mean erasing history. It means honoring it, and that healing can be messy and delicious. So the next time you eat a dumpling, remember you're not just tasting pork and chives. You're tasting history, hope, and the possibility of healing. For me, cooking my mother's recipes brought me closer to her, and now to my kids. So grab your kid, make some s'mores, chili, or some kimchi, and think about how the simple act of cooking can create connection and open a space for difficult conversations with your loved ones. Because healing trauma is possible, one dumpling at a time. Thank you.